there's been a incident at the family restaurant where I guess, and we're not. This is not a new story. This is happening probably all over the place forever.
Yeah.
You've heard it. Everyone's heard it. But the whipped creams aren't working down at the restaurant. All right. So logically, what we've got going on now is there's basically two things that could be going on.
Right.
Whoever's manufacturing these whipped creams have got a faulty process and they're unaware of it.
Right.
Unlikely.
Or
one or a group of employees has been recreationally, they call it huffing? What do they call it when you suck?
I think it's huffing.
Is it nitrous oxide that they've used in there?
Yeah.
So they're getting a little, it's a whippet.
Yeah, it's a whippet.
They're taking a little whippet,
a
little blast of nitrous to clear the fog, for fun. So basically, like, what I was told was that, like, several cases of whipped cream didn't work out, and that, like, it's been a problem down there, and that as a result of this, what do you like? You basically hear that, and your first instinct is what?
Dishwasher.
Bingo. Okay.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, teenage kid, access to the fridge.
Yep.
Doesn't have can't get weed or booze. He's heard that this gets them fucked up, so he's going for it, right?
Yep.
So all this time, people that are looking into it are trying to figure out which one of the dishwashers, or all of them, or who's doing all the whippets.
Yeah, I would say there's definitely a potential. They would be the first person I would investigate.
It happened to be like a 60-year-old waitress. They got it on camera and found out. And
wow,
it's like a 60-year-old. I mean,
that would be my third group.
She's like late 50s, early 60s, just living hard. She's been she's been living hard. She's still obviously
she's just fucking getting into the whippet.
She's cleaned us out of our nitrous oxide of the whipped cream. So I mean, all right. So that's the links that
sad.
Those are the links that human beings will go to.
It's funny, but it's sad too. Yeah.
Oh, it's funny and it's sad. it's reality.
UFOs.
Science.
Consciousness.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
That might not be a real thing. The podcast.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm the Candyman here with Macka.
What's up?
He's composing himself right now from a face blasting joint session of Lemon OG Kush.
Right.
So Danny Demonic is out sick.
He's ill.
He got hit with some holy water last night by accident, and it's having some adverse effects on him. I think my mother might have holy watered his house, right. And he might have got hit with a splash of it and instantly burned him to the core. So he's recovering.
He's in recovery right now.
Can't make it tonight. Last minute.
Usually he can make it at night.
Yeah, well,
it's during the day he can't come out.
Last night, last minute cancellation on us, but
right.
Hey, man, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You're gonna hear this transmission. It's gonna be Thanksgiving.
That's right.
It means different things for different people.
It does,
just like all the holidays. Like I like the holidays, obviously.
Right.
They're a time of, they should be a time where everyone's happy.
Joy.
Suicides spike during the holidays.
All right, shout out to the Green Power Ranger.
The Green Power Ranger killed himself?
Last night or
Get
recently.
Get the fuck out of here. How do you know that and I don't?
Well,
It's not the white
reality.
Power Ranger, Tommy. Yeah, but Power Rangers is total fantasy and
it's very
nerdy, and that should totally been in my feed. You know what I mean? Like I should have woke up this morning and they should have been like, "Hey, what's the story?"
Very new news. I don't know. Just
check it out real quick while I do the. we're not going to be able to do the jingle this week because we're down one of our baritones or whatever.
Yeah, I was thinking we should pre-record, like do a real nice pre-recording.
Yeah, I had the same thought earlier in the week. We'll do our best. But this show is brought to you by NRG Tree. Check them out at nrgtree.com. Own your own solar. And if you like the show, pass it around, everybody. Send it to some people, some like-minded fellows or people that you think will... Is fellows a... does that word work cross gender? Is it female and male?
I believe
be a
so.
fellow. Fellows just means like groupings, right? You're of the group. You're part of this thing.
I mean, I think in a group, if you are
like a
talking
fellowship.
about a group,
The fellowship.
like you can be like, look at that fella.
Yeah.
That would be a fella.
Point of fact, there were no females in the Fellowship of the Ring.
There was not.
The group, the actual core fellowship.
Right.
Yeah, they should have had one wizard girl or archer or something. They could have made Legolas a girl. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't far from it.
Wasn't
But he
far
was,
from it,
Orlando Bloom was looking really pretty
Very
in
smooth
in those films. So
Very blonde.
yeah. But yeah, send the show around to your friends and family or people you think you would like it. We're out there trying to help people. And, you can hit us up on email at tmnbart@gmail.com. And I just got a quick shout out to my buddy Double J and my buddy G Money from high school. Went out with them last night. Went out to Peddler's Daughter. Ran into some people that were fans of the show that came out. Shout out to Declan. They had a sweet band there. That first of all, they were playing kick-ass 80s music the whole time.
Which you love.
Of course. But they had like good ones, like We Didn't Start the Fire.
Yeah.
Just classics across the board.
Would that been an 80s song or is that 90s?
I don't know. I think it's 80s, but I'll tell you what.
But a guy who made his bones in the 80s.
Yeah, Billy Joel's kind of like 70s, 80s.
70s, 80s, and then he started to cool out in the 90s, and now he's just a touring phenomenon.
What are you going to do?
Middle-aged white people just go see him and just fucking love him.
You got to see him one more time, right? I went and saw Kiss, right?
Right.
Am I a middle-aged white person?
Yeah, actually.
Demographically?
Demographically.
All right, there you go. Maybe I should see Billy Joel. I don't really like a lot of his tunes. I have like 4 or 5 songs. I'm like, yep. The rest, I'm like, I could do without it.
Right. What's that one that's like, he changed up his music.
He's had, Well, the 80s,
He was like,
people were experimenting
doo-wop
with shit in the 80s,
For the longest time. That's a good one.
He does
Can't
have
argue
some.
with that.
He does have some doo-wop in there.
right.
I mean,
Quartet
that's not one of my favorites. I'm just going to tell you.
No, it's okay. I know what you're into.
So yeah, shout out to my friends, Peddler's Daughter. They had some guys there playing guitars or whatever, and they impressively or surprisingly opened up. They were playing 90s tunes, and they opened up with "It Was Good" or "Good" by Better Than Ezra, which is like a very obscure 90s song that I happen to like. So right away I nailed it. I was like, is this Better Than Ezra? But I was not expecting a guitar band on a bar to be playing that
right.
Saturday night. I was like, whoa.
They're usually playing the hits, the top 40s.
Just something. But
Were you guys out because people are home because of Thanksgiving, or like
that's it? No, these guys actually
These guys are
are
local?
home, but like I like this time of year because you get to catch up with people
who are back?
who are back, hopefully.
I think and I don't know if this is everywhere, but specifically here in maybe New England or Massachusetts, the night before Thanksgiving is a big party night.
Oh yeah.
And
It is what I
how
was
many Thanksgivings would you say you ruined
like
for yourself in particular, but maybe even some for your family?
a baker's dozen.
All right, so since you were 18,
a third of the Thanksgivings that I, let's
since
call
you
it
were since you were 18 out of high school, because that's when it starts, and then so a third, so like
precisely 1/3 of the Thanksgiving.
that's almost 23 years ago, right? Basically,
I don't know, man.
something in that approximation.
I don't.
And you're saying
I don't
that
drink-
You
I don't-
ruined 8.
I don't
Or
drink.
9.
I don't drink any. I stopped drinking when I was probably like 26, 27. So it was,
That's not true.
no, definitely I stopped drinking on the regular.
Yeah.
By the time I was I probably stopped drinking on a weekly basis after college, but maybe not till not high school, not till late 20s maybe, but definitely when hangovers started to kick the shit out of me. And it's simultaneously I discovered my love of cannabis.
Right.
Booze became a thing of the past.
Right. You did it less. You would do it less frequently.
I drink like almost never. Last night I had like 2 black and tans. I was gone.
It doesn't take you much.
It took me a half one, and I was drunk.
I feel like that's kind of been your MO since I've met you, is that you will drink all night, or you used to drink all night, but you would be drunk off one.
Ride the wave.
And you would just keep going.
You got to keep power in the system, power the party. Keep it going, baby.
Yeah. But 1 or 2 would...
You don't want to. It's like
get you going.
It's like in the movies when they unplug the music in a party and everyone just goes. It's like keep going.
Yeah.
Booze isn't for me. Ironically, we were supposed to have a guest come in tonight and talk about alcoholism.
Right.
She canceled or rescheduled or whatever at the last minute. But our friend is gonna. She wants to do the show. She wants to come in and talk about it. I think it's a good show.
We've done a couple of shows on addiction, or at least one. So.
Yeah, I mean, addiction means different things for different people. Alcoholism's like it's a very special one, you know?
Yeah.
You could say that they're all special, right? Like heroin.
Special isn't always good.
No, I'm just saying they're specific, like people that are addicted to cigarettes.
Yeah.
They're like chain smoking cigarettes. They always want another cigarette.
Yeah.
They're nervous. You know, there's like, you got that picture in your head of these people just fucking smoking nonstop cigarettes. I'm a stoner, you know.
Yeah.
The image would be like, you know, wake and bake, roll out of bed.
Yeah. Because
Plan and bake. I mean, it's all true.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's like the image is correct. But that's what I would put out there. You know what I mean?
I was thinking about
Alcoholic's a different thing.
Yeah, I was thinking about like what questions to ask, because I think, like you said, alcohol is special. It's extremely accessible, and B, like what it creeps up on you. I think, unless it doesn't, but.
Not from my personal experience. It slaps me across the face the minute I get with it, but then I go.
Some people are like, oh, I started just drinking, and then it's like 2 drinks a night, and then 4, and then blah, and then now I wake up with it.
For me, if we're doing a podcast on alcoholism and we're interviewing someone about it, like my simple question is just like, tell me about, like, if I was to ask it out loud, and we will eventually, I'd just be like, tell me about the road, like, to rehab. Like, how'd you get to a place where you had to go to rehab?
Yeah.
What was rehab like? And how did you get to a place where you could go from that to functioning again? Right. That's what everyone's trying to figure out. Like, how can I get rid of this? So not a lot of people are addicted to stuff that they fucking own it like me. You know, I'm like, yo, this is it. This is what I'm about. And this is, fuck it. You know?
Well, you've made it, part of your function.
100%.
Like you have 3. Do you think you have 3 main addictions?
I'd say it's like probably like 10. I was thinking like sex, video games, Diet Pepsi. They just got me. I'm just a victim of it.
No, that's what I mean. Pepsi's definitely one.
Yeah, they just got me though. Like that was like whatever they're putting in there is addicting, and you know they got me.
Right. Do you think sex, though, for you is self-destructive?
No, I'm having very positive sexual experiences since I was late 20s.
You're not like ruining other relationships.
No, when I was younger, I was maybe doing some stuff that wasn't great. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like I definitely slept with some married women. You know, in my heyday. Not since. Probably, I mean, to my knowledge, like actively, like I know that I'm about to do this. Not in like 15 years, 10 years.
Yeah.
It's 10 years. It's a decade.
Early 30s.
I know the last one it was, so there you go. But you know, the song of the week this week's got a little bit of a theme to it, because I was having a conversation with my kid this week about being ahead of your time. I was like, you know, sometimes you're just ahead of your time, and it takes other people a little while to catch up. And it's like there are certain people, like I was ahead of my time in a lot of ways, and she's like, well, I feel like I still am a progressive thinker, and you know, whatever. But you know, I was like, hey, listen, you know, sometimes you know something's awesome and not everyone else knows about it yet, but that doesn't mean that it isn't awesome, and you got to like just trust yourself. And I was like, first, and you know, because I shouted out my high school buddies, I'll use the story I told her. I was like, you know, for example, in 1995, I went to freshman year of high school, and I had a windbreaker custom made with the Wu-Tang Clan emblem on it. Okay,
Very cool.
Wu-Tang,
Yeah.
Wu-Tang. Because my kid's been listening to a lot of classic hip hop from that era, which,
For her.
yeah, oh yeah, she gave me her whole library the other day, and you know she's driving the Jeep now, so she puts her phone on the playlist because it's her car. You
Right.
know? She's got all the hip hop.
Yep.
She's got some good hits, but she doesn't have any Wu-Tang. I was like, you've got no Wu-Tang, and so I was like, see some, you know, I was like giving her the whole story, and I was like, you know, when I was freshman, I wore a Wu-Tang jacket to high school, and everybody made fun of me, and you know, like I was some sort of loser or punk or sucker MC. But
Right.
I'll tell you what, a decade later, 90% of those kids would cut their balls off to have like front row seats at a Wu-Tang concert
Right.
or something. You know
Right.
what I mean? And they would all be pumping those beats out of their cars and their
Right.
trunks and their amps and shit. So fuck off. you
Yeah,
know? Like, sometimes-
exactly.
Like I knew the Wu-Tang shit was cool.
Right.
Like I was attracted to it because their first album was like kung fu related.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I can get down with this shit. You know, but the song of the week for me this week, and you're no way are you gonna expect this one to be the song of the week for me this week. But I heard it, and sometimes you hear a song when for example, like we grew up with this, right? We were probably like 12. You'll know exactly what year it came out, but we were probably like 12 when this shit came out, and it was popular, so we all just kind of went with it, right?
Yeah.
Now years later, I can listen to it and be like, is this really good, or is this like was I just told that it was good? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna throw a little bar at you, okay?
All right.
Word to your moms, I came to drop bombs. I got more lyrics than the Bible's got Psalms. That's Jump Around.
That's Jump Around.
by House of Pain.
One of the most famous songs ever made.
Nice Irish fellas, I believe.
Yeah,
Sean,
yeah.
you know, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know if they're from Ireland.
Oh, they're not from. I think are they out of Boston at least?
No,
Or are they from
no.
Philly?
They're
or
from
what?
LA.
Okay, they're from LA.
They're Los
All right.
Angeles.
Well, Jesus, man, I listened to that song about 5 times in a row to really break it in, you know. And I was like, I watched the video. They got the guy at the beginning doing the bagpipes.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's like a sound that's like
Yeah.
not good, but good at the way they use it, you know. And they get the bagpipes, and this dude just comes on, and he's like
Yeah.
straight throwing it down. Like if you closed your eyes, you'd think you were like. I was listening to it, I was like, this guy's almost like Ice Cube.
Yeah.
You know, just that one jam. I haven't
Right.
really gotten into too much of their other work. I don't know.
They have some two listenable albums.
When did that shit come out? What were we like? 12?
1992.
1992. We would have
Yeah,
been
we were
12.
12 years
right?
old.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Just brain melting music.
Nobody was ready for that shit.
I got pubes from that song.
The hip hop.
I was like that happened, and I was like, oh, my brain just added development from it.
And like, I don't like to get into ethnicity. I refuse to use the word race to describe the different types of people on the planet. I don't like to get into ethnicity, right?
Okay.
But like, the reality is
Ethnicity and race are different things. Yeah.
no, for me, it's all just like, if you come from this place, that's your ethnicity. We're all the human race. That's it.
Sure.
That's my opinion on it.
Okay.
That's all I'm telling you.
All right.
But the reality is that people of color, black people, whatever you want to call them,
Yes.
dominated the rap game, the hip hop game. They still do. Seldom does a Caucasian person break in and are they able to have like a straight hit.
Right. Yeah.
And I
Percentage-wise,
can't think of anybody before House of Pain that was able to do it. Like, you'll know better
Beastie
than
Boys.
the Beastie Boys were a totally different animal because they were cross rock. But yeah, I'll give it to them.
Yeah,
I'll give you
they
that.
were hip hop. Yeah.
No, they were hip hop, but
Yeah.
they had a lot of
They were on Def
Macka.
Jam.
Are you going to tell me? Are you going
They
to sit here and
used
tell me
samples.
that you're going to sit here and tell me that the Beastie Boys aren't? I guess they don't play any instruments.
They do,
Not like,
but they didn't.
not like a
have-
rock band though. Not like Aerosmith.
No, I mean they were a punk band first, and then they kind of more
Transitioned.
evolved into.
I've seen the special, the documentary on them. They but because that's exactly what they did. They made a new genre. It was like cross.
Right.
They crossed genre.
They were one of the ones that take it to like a national level. Beastie Boys and Run DMC. And
Yes, Run DMC. But
they were all using those, and that was based on the influence of what's his name.
Who's the most famous white hip hop artist? You think Marshall
Eminem.
Mathers?
Yeah, Eminem, 100%.
Did you know I was going to come out with Marshall Mathers?
I didn't, but I'm glad you did.
How about that? It'd be sad if I didn't know that.
Yeah, it would. Yeah,
That was like straight college years.
yeah.
But I'm not an Eminem fan. Point of fact, I like a couple of his songs.
Yeah, I think like for me with him, it's like he's very talented, but like just like that second album was when we were what?
No, he's a talented guy. I'm not
21
saying
or 22, so it's like a lot of nostalgia.
You know, I don't like angry stuff though, like music with angry vibes.
Yeah,
so
right.
I don't want to listen to that. I want to listen to something that makes me want to like Marvin Gaye. Let's get it on. That's
Yeah.
That's more my speed.
Right.
Can't get enough of your love, babe. Barry
Yeah.
White. It's more my.
Yeah. And there's a lot of newer stuff like that too, but
So that's it, man. Some people are just ahead of their time, and I felt like House of Pain was like. I felt like they were ahead of their time.
yeah.
I mean,
They were definitely ahead of their well, they came out with Cypress Hill. So they were on that vibe, I think. But they had that one song that's probably made them be able to live quality life
Forever.
Their whole life.
oh yeah.
And they've all, except I think they've all been part of the music industry since, like whether it's rapping or
I remember
the DJ was part of Limp Bizkit.
The DJ from House of Pain was in Limp Bizkit post House of Pain.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then Everlast came out was like a blues singer because he had a heart attack and he had to slow down.
I remember that.
He was probably doing cocaine a lot.
But he's the lead singer from House of Pain. Is that
He was
the guy?
the lead rapper, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was another guy who kind of half rapped up, but he's involved in stuff still. So they've had crazy careers, and the person who made the music for them, DJ Muggs, made the music for Cypress Hill, and at that time was working with Ice Cube a lot. So when you were referencing
Oh, how do you like that?
Ice Cube's reference,
He's probably got. They were probably smoking grass behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Throwing, they had the little white notebooks they used to carry around, hip hop people, and they write down their rhymes in there before we had smartphones and all that. That was the tool.
Yeah, and
you had your little rhyme book, right?
Yeah, and Cypress Hill and Ice Cube weren't friendly.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm just telling you that when I listened to this guy, I was like, man, this is kind of like the Cube.
Right at that time, yeah, probably heavily influenced.
Makes sense that he's from L.A. now that you mention it. So they got that. They're all tuned into that.
But they wore the Celtics. He wore the Celtics jersey.
That's because it was Irish.
Yes, yeah. And they looked like that bar looked like that. They were in. I think they were in Chicago or something for that. But that looked like freaking Boston.
Do Irish people coast to coast like the Celtics? Do they have to support them a little bit
anymore? No,
but like maybe like in the 80s and 90s, it was still
maybe it was like, oh, I can wear this, and it would
the Shamrock on there.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think there's any connection anymore. Do my artist spotlight.
Oh, please do. After we just showcased the hell out of House of Pain from the 90s,
right? And actually, I from that process I just described about like, hey, Google, what song is this? I found this group, and they're not my typical group. They're like a folk pop type group, and I'm going to give two groups out of them. But so it's Angus and Julia Stone.
Angus.
And then a side project of Angus is Dope Lemon, and they make pretty melodic, cool music. And the song in particular that made me like search them is Big Jet Plane. Very cool song.
What do they play?
They don't play anything you would know.
Big Jet Plane. I'm going to download it and listen to it later.
Yeah, it's good. It's good shit.
It's going to be right there, ready to go.
Yeah, it's good shit.
Right.
Everything else is okay, but but other people might like them more.
Do you have any idea the amount of you like going to the record store because it's like, yo, I love it. This is music, and we're into music. But like regular people, if they're only a little interested in the song, they're not going to take the effort to go buy a physical thing. Whereas like now, it takes 2 seconds to just hit a button and get it.
That's what I mean. For us, it's great.
I'm just saying. I think it's good for the artists. I think it makes their shit more accessible.
If they're still touring, like if this group's touring, then you go, oh shit, I just heard them. I'm going to go see them play. And that's where they make all their money.
Well, I don't know.
And maybe merch. Because I don't think they're making that much money off their streams. But like that Big Jet song has 274 million streams. And these are Australians.
Hey.
So they're not American.
Aussies have put out some, I mean, AC/DC's
well, like on
from
Spotify,
Australia.
let's see, like, who Taylor Swift. By the way, Taylor Swift coming around, going on tour.
Still relevant?
Her tickets are the cheapest tickets are $800.
Why? What's her song? I mean, when's the last time she put out a hit?
I don't know, but she puts out, I don't know. I don't know much about her. I think because I don't particularly enjoy her music. It's
I
just
couldn't even tell you if you said the name of a song. I could say, like, okay, yeah, I think that's Taylor Swift, but I don't fucking know.
Every song, all right, so on Spotify, they do like the top 5 songs. Every song has over 100 million listens.
That's
and
a lot.
This is all just from their album that just came out.
I mean, that's a shit ton.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, I got to tell you, I think that's better for the artists, and they should have just not resisted it. But I get it. They had a bet.
Well, because you go from selling, you had a bet. They had a bet. They went from selling their albums to not.
You know, I wanted to do a little Thanksgiving thing about I want to do more Buddhist stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like Thanksgiving is certainly not Buddhist in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. It's kind of made up.
Well, you think the Native Americans had like a give thanks holiday and the Pilgrims picked it up from them? Or I'm talking like Plymouth Rock.
Yeah.
The story of the first Thanksgiving and Squanto, the Native American.
Yeah. That nice tale.
They showed them how to plant corn.
Part of the American rewrite.
They basically like, hey, white man, you want to establish a foothold in here and wipe out our culture? We'll give you some corn.
They were probably like, hey, they probably sat down and the Native Americans, the indigenous people were like...
They were like those religious people from England. They were like hyper pious, right? They were probably like moral people, and the natives were like, these people are very nice people. We should let them come in here.
Yeah. And then they were like, you're not white. We're going to kill you.
We're just going to kill you.
But those people, like, I guarantee the natives were like part of their process for every meal was like, we give thanks to or whatever.
Yeah. Well, it was so yeah. I mean, I feel like people that came before our generations had more of a thankful feeling for food than say people that grew up with a supermarket and just get everything.
Right.
Culturally around the world, I think.
Yeah.
Right. Probably.
Yeah.
But for me, Thanksgiving, if I was to, people are always asking me you're a Buddhist, what do you know about Buddhism? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I know some basic shit, you know? Right. And one of the most basic things is the Thanksgiving concept where you say out loud, what you're thankful for.
Right.
And I feel like people only do that during Thanksgiving. And if I was to give a Buddhist lesson, I'd be like, do it every day.
Right.
Do it a couple times a day if you can.
Do your gratitude lists.
Yeah. I mean, it's there's more to it than that, just to be thankful. It's it helps you curb your appetite for other stuff.
Right.
And that's basically the other layer of Buddhism where you got to let go of your desire for stuff. And so if you have just some stuff and you're appreciative of it, you're like, all right, well, I've got some stuff and I've got, I have this, and so you take a second and stop feeling shitty about what you don't have and look at what you got. And if you can do that every day and a couple times a day, I feel like you're a happier individual. And one of my goals for being on the air is to help people be happier individuals,
Yeah.
And I don't know, one of my things, this is not a Buddhist teaching, but I made this up a long time ago. I'm gonna be honest with you. I might have heard it from Robert De Niro in the movie The Score with Edward Norton. But it was I applied it into the Buddhist philosophy, right? Yeah, but it was he said yes, this is definitely De Niro from the movie The Score, which is basically 99% of my intelligence has been seeped in through the boob tube, television, which is what I think they wanted to have happen.
Yes,
but he says something in the movie figure out what you want, all the things you want in life, and then just spend the rest of your life going after them and getting them.
Yeah.
Something like that. And I just remember being you know what? There's just so much shit out there. You should just come up with a list of 10. You've heard me talk about it. 10 things, right?
Yeah.
get a list of 10 fucking things that you really want and then go get them. But like, be happy once you have your 10.
Right.
And if you don't have all 10, be happy with like the 2 or 3 or 4. Like, you know what my list is?
What?
Like, in no particular order of importance.
Yeah.
King size bed. California king.
Yeah. I like that.
I know.
I like that.
It's a first world thing,
But
problem not
is
to
it,
have a
man?
king size bed
Yeah.
because some people don't have a bed at all. But
Is it a problem that you don't have it, or is that just?
I'm just saying, for me personally,
want?
something that's important to me is a California king
Hey, you want to
size
sleep
bed.
diagonal no matter what.
Wherever I am in that sucker. There's a lot of real estate to play around in
That's
there.
right. Yeah.
I'm
I like
also a tomcat in the sack on a,
Right.
you know, it doesn't happen as often as it used to. Point of fact, it hasn't happened in way too long, ladies. But if you have a California king, it's way easier to fit 2 chicks in the bed with you at once. And hence there's more real estate to work with.
Yeah.
And I would like to do that a couple more times before I die or my dinky stops working.
Yeah.
Oh, I suspect that those 2 events will coincide close to each other. Like,
Maybe all 3.
I'll die first, and then my dinky will stop working.
Yeah.
Or my dinky will stop working, and I will terminate my life. Yeah, either way you slice it, they're going to end up close to each other. Yeah, close to each other, yeah. Obviously, Xbox and a TV to play it on.
Right. And the newest versions of those things.
Not necessary.
Okay.
You know, you know me. I like to listen to music for like, I have a high threshold for like not getting sick of shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which is also another Buddhist thing, I think.
Yeah.
Just like, me and Declan were out last night talking about human nature, and I was like, it sucks, man. I'm like, I don't care who you are. You're programmed to not be happy with something or as happy with something the longer you have it or the more of it you have.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's just the way it goes.
Because you feel like you need to have more of whatever that is.
I don't know. I just know that like
I would be happier with more money.
Everybody would, but eventually, in a long enough time period, if that was the reality you lived in and it wasn't a thing anymore, and you just had a ton of money, you'd become unhappy again. You'd be like,
because you made that your number one goal.
It just because it would just be like looking at it's like white noise in the background. You know? It's like, it's so human psychology, the way we're designed by survival, like, we don't tune in on the background of shit. We block it out. We tune in on something that moves, right? So like, if you're in like the woods and everything looks still, but you see something move, boom, you look over there.
Yeah.
That's how we're wired. We want to see what's in motion, what's happening. Stuff that's stagnant and it's just there all the time, it's like, meh, that's just there.
Right.
You forget about it. And so like, money is, when you don't have it, can make you really unhappy, and you'd be like, I need more of this. I don't want stuff to make me survive, right? And I feel like,
well, it depends. Like what you're saying is some of the things that are on your desire list require money.
I mean, almost everything requires money, right?
Yeah,
it's like, that's what sucks. You got to go out and get some of it.
But
like,
I think those things that you want are a means to the things that you really want, which is experiences. Experiences
are.
Because, like, you know, your desire to have a couple of more times with
that's an experience.
2 or more women in your bed, that's an experience you're going for.
Which requires a king size bed for optimal performance. It's not like you could do it in a twin bed all day, but like it's better in a king size.
Yeah, you're not banging your elbow against anything.
No one's falling off, getting
their heads. Yeah, exactly.
No awkward breaks in the action. Oh, Jesus, she fell off. Let's get back.
The TV and the Xbox, like
those are material things that are also experiences.
A means to your ends with the people that you are online.
You can add experiences to your list of things you want.
I think everything is about experience.
It is,
but you need some things. You need stuff to do some of that.
Yeah,
and some of that stuff is money. Basically.
You can't do it with wampum.
No, you can't do it with wampum. I mean, you can do some stuff with without money, of course, but like, you know, it's better. You can make the things better.
When we talk about in the holidays and how like it's a good time, but except for when it's not, you know, and it's like, I'm trying to figure out why people are so miserable during the holidays, and it's ultimately just that they need more Buddhism in their life, you know?
Right.
Because like, Basically, it boils down to like people are unhappy because. All right, so holidays, why are you unhappy? Usually it's because you run into a bunch of people that you know and are friends with, and they're doing better financially than you are. So there's like a show of that in your face, and it puts you down. You're like, oh, I don't have that cool car, and I don't have this job, and whatever. Or it's like people, you're missing people, right? So
like you could be lonely.
Yeah, I'm saying you're lonely and you want to be around people and all these other. There's this portrayal out there that everyone's out there skipping around with their families and having this great holiday, and you're at home being lonely, and you're like, I'm sick of being lonely. I'm just gonna fucking end it all right now, you know? And it's like that's a tough one to overcome with Buddhism, other than to just know that, like, you know, you're not lonely. It's that's an illusion.
But also, like, for our area of the world, like, it is also coinciding with a weather change.
So you feel like there's seasonal depression kicking in right during the holidays? Wow, Macka. Wow.
Mixed in with...
I hadn't factored that into the equation.
Yeah, I mean, that's not everywhere, but, like, I think...
Where we live, for sure.
World, yeah.
Seasonal change depression is a weird thing. I 100% believe in it.
I've been getting it the last 2 or 3 years, I think. It sucks.
What, during winter?
Yeah, just like... Yeah.
The daylight...
And I don't know why... You know,
it has something to do with. I'm sure there are multiple biometric factors that make you like when it's cold out, your body's probably like, "Hey, man, you need to just go to sleep, get under those covers and pass out. That's what you need to be doing right now."
Right,
and maybe it's trying to as a little bit of that, but I'm sure it has a lot to do with light cycle.
Probably, I think that's most
circadian rhythms.
Right.
Like my homeboy Brian lives in fucking Alaska, dude.
Yeah, fuck.
And I was thinking about that seasonal change depression and what happens to people in Alaska, because like they've got long periods of uninterrupted darkness,
right? And
they've got long periods of uninterrupted days.
And it's not like it's not like 3 months at a time. It's like 6 months or something, right? Of darkness.
I think it's like 3 or 4 month swings, and then they have like whatever time's left over in the calendar. They get like some regular weather in there, but I don't know. I'm not a meteorologist and I don't specialize in weather in Alaska. But I can tell you is that my buddy told me that he lives there. Yeah. And he said it gets like, you know, it's daylight and you're out there and you're running around. And it's fucking bright as shit, right? And then later on in the day, it gets like dusk, but then never gets dark.
Oh, fuck.
And then the dusk just gradually gets brighter again.
Right.
So you're going like dusk and dawn are shortened and day. Yeah. But no night.
Right.
But
so that's interesting.
That'll fuck you up, dude.
Has to. Too much. It's like, the day, it doesn't stop.
Yeah, and so for us, like the weather change and I feel like it's pretty abrupt.
Yeah.
So it makes people depressed.
Especially if, like, you know, I think right now we're experiencing pretty cold weather, and it wasn't that cold like last week. So now it's like
too warm for my optimal conditions. So but
sometimes when that happens, and we have to get used to this, we have to be adaptable to it. And because,
thank goodness, global warming is changing the environment.
That's what I mean. Like, it could be more drastic stuff.
It sucks as Dan isn't here because I wanted to talk to you about it this week. But did you notice Graham Hancock's special came out on Netflix, Ancient Apocalypse?
Oh, I did see it, yeah.
You know who he is?
I do know who he is.
He's one of the Ancient Aliens guys.
Yeah.
He's only been included in the Ancient Aliens stuff because he's been studying for a long time. His argument's essentially that human culture, whatever, goes back way longer than we think.
Right.
And for whatever reason, mainstream academia has like this pushback against like any violation of like the timeline that's been established, which doesn't make any fucking sense. Like who gives a shit?
Well, the European rewrite.
What about it? Who cares?
They're the one who established modern academia.
But what do they want? What are they trying to cover up? That we were here before them?
I think it doesn't tell that story. And now it's like, no, this is what now, because in higher ed, I think there's people who research. There's a lot of ego in that. Professors, people at that level, there's a lot of ego in that. So, like, no, this is what I've been learning. I was taught by this guy, and this guy was taught by this guy, and this guy was taught by this guy, who was taught by fucking,
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It doesn't matter what subject you're talking about, philosophy, psychology, fucking science. It's like the people that have written the rules at this point, they're like, no, this is it.
Yeah.
Has to be it.
Has to be it.
And that's the worst kind of thinking you can have. You got to have open-minded thinking.
but their whole identity is based on it, and they have a lot of power because of they're backed by institutions, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, the European rewrite happened, and like all these things, it's like this is where it all started right around then, and then it's like people did more research and like, well, it seems like maybe Egypt had some good times, and
It seems like they may have invented the mathematics that the Greeks took the credit for.
yeah. They're like, oh, they go to South America, and they're like, well, there's some pretty major councils.
Serious mathematics incorporated into the architecture. You know, Graham Hancock's one of his main things is South America, unearthing South Americans, like their history. And Europe definitely fucked up South America over the last
100%.
over the last 1,000 years.
100%.
What do you think Europe fucked up worse, Europe or South America?
I would say definitely South America, and let's not even get into Africa. I think they fucked Africa, no doubt. And
if you were in a time machine and you could go back in time and drop an A-bomb in the middle, I know it would wipe out the Irish as a Holocaust, as collateral damage. What do you think you would do? Just wipe out Great Britain, and Spain and France, right? The three of them right off the face of the map, and then history would have turned out so different.
Yeah, but I mean, like if it goes to Graham Hancock's theories, like this is just a cycle, you know?
Yeah,
it's like, all right.
I hear you. My buddy was So my buddy was talking to me today about this. Okay, he was basically saying like, and I want to stay focused on being thankful for Thanksgiving and some Buddhist shit, but
not to go into conspiracy.
Well, it plays into it, dude. You gotta like, Buddhism's about like getting out of yourself and like understanding that you're part of a bigger thing, and like. He was talking to me today about the Chinese and that they own TikTok, I guess.
Yes,
and that they're basically, you know, part of that app's permissions is that they can just scan your Wi-Fi and like get into your other devices via the, you know, there's some sort of tunneling worm, fucking, I don't know what they call these viruses, but like it's not a virus. It's part of the program. It like accesses the Wi-Fi and then hooks up to other things that are hooked up to it, and it can scan for shit. So they're basically like espionage. Like they're stealing our ideas, stealing this, stealing that.
Right.
So my buddy was like all freaked out about it today. He's like, "This is horrible." Blah blah blah. I'm like, well, I was like, I agree that in the short run, it's probably bad for Americans
if it's true.
If it's true, I was like,
a lot of shit on YouTube.
I'm like, but at the same time, I'm like, in the long run, it's probably good for humanity because the information they're stealing is getting out to other people, and someone's going to use it, right? And like, the big thing is like, you know, everyone's just too focused on like their own sphere of where they live, and they're not understanding that it's all part of the same bigger sphere.
Yeah.
And so like, the problem with it, why I think people should come up with 10 things that they want to do or, you know, have, or whatever you want to define it as, is like, is it the fucking sphere is big. You can't go out and get everything. You can't experience everything. Like, you talk about experiences, right? Like, we could go bungee diving, we could go skydiving, we could go bobsledding, we could go fucking, I don't know, any kind of activity you want to come up with, right? Like, we could go swim underwater, we could go spelunking, we could go roller skating, holding hands at Skate 3 if you want to really have a good time.
There is an adult roller skating phenomenon happening right now.
There is?
Yeah.
That's a fucking
grown
thing?
men kind of like dance roller skating, and it looks very fun.
Dance skating was hot when it came out in the 80s.
Yeah.
But now it's back.
I don't think it's ever left the southern black community, specifically Georgia.
They hung on to it hard.
That's still a thing down there.
It's a pocket.
They made a movie about it in the 2000s, and T.I. was in it.
Ooh.
Remember T.I.
I'm pretty sure he's in Swagger Like Us.
Yeah.
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you. No one on the corner got Swagger Like Us. Dude, that song, that was ahead of its time. No one was ready for it. And that was put out by some giants.
Yeah.
They outdid themselves.
T.I. came on T.I.'s album.
They outdid themselves.
They did.
In that one, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is you can't experience everything. It's like I say all the time, like, one of the great regrets of my life is that I just simply can't make love to every single hot chick on the planet. Like, I would love to.
Right.
It would be great.
Yeah.
You know, but I can't.
You wouldn't have enough time.
I don't have the time. I don't have the resources. It's just, it's a physical impossibility to do it in the lifespan of a human being, you know?
And it also takes, you know, you have to be allowed to do that. Every hot chick would, every hot woman would want to make love with you.
Let's assume I had the Pied Piper's pipe and I was just okay. I want to play Lenny Kravitz. Fucking, I'm gonna go my way on a Pied Piper pipe, and all the chicks in the world want to fuck me all at once.
Yeah,
I still can't do it.
Can't do it.
It's gonna take too long. I'm gonna be old and rickety. My balls aren't gonna work. Nothing's gonna happen.
Right.
I want to be able to anymore. Like my hands will get old. Yeah. Point is, you can't have it all. You can't do it all, and it's
can't
like
do it all, man.
To feel sorrow or desire or like sadness that you don't have something. It's like it's kind of human nature, but you got to overcome it.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta let that go.
Be happy with the ones you have, and if like
love the one you got, right?
Yeah,
don't love the one you with.
That's the difference. Yeah, that's a song.
Yeah, that is a song.
But like, you know, like every day I try to tell myself, like, okay, like if you were to go right now, would you be all right with it? Like if you checked out right now, would you have? And I'm just like, man, yeah, you had a good run. You had a lot of good experiences, right?
That's right.
The stuff I haven't done, I can't play any instruments.
Yeah.
I want to play guitar. I want to fucking play piano.
Right.
I want to learn how to rock out and do things that people do. Like when I listen to music, I fucking love it. And I'm like, man, I wish I could generate that. But I don't. Right now, I play Xbox.
Yeah.
It's taking up a lot of my time.
Yeah.
Piano lessons aren't in the cards.
Right.
But like, you know, just like I've done some stuff. I've had some experiences, and I'm grateful for what I got served, basically.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And like, I know a lot of people aren't grateful with what they have served, but you got to try to be, is I guess what I'm saying.
There's a lot of pressure to have more and do different things.
Who started that shit?
I don't fucking know, man.
Is it human ego, or is it the corporation?
I think it's like the culture, especially in America.
Are we a one-up species?
Oh yeah,
big time.
Yeah, or one-up ethnicity, Americans. You know.
Yeah, but is it wired into the human species? Like it's precisely what I was talking about earlier. Like humans want to explore. Because they're just like they're curious. They want to know what's over there, but also boredom.
Right.
They're like, I gotta get out of here. This is boring. Like basically when you're 18, right? Like, when you graduate in high school or maybe graduate in college, it's like a mass exit. I don't care where you're from.
Yeah.
You could be from California.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be a mass exodus of kids that are like, I'm getting out of here, man. I'm going to fucking Texas, or I'm going to fucking Canada. I don't know where people from California would possibly want to move to, but like they want to go.
Yeah.
And where we're from, people are like, I'm out of here, man. I'm going to fucking California. I'm gonna do something, you know? And it's like, I get it. You want to get out there and have an adventure and experience some shit.
Yeah.
But that's wired into us. You think that's American?
I don't know if it is. I think I'm not sure if the leaving home and trying to find out who you are and experience shit is
the hero's journey.
I think that's just like part of life.
I know. I just feel like it happens at that point in your life when you're like right out, like post puberty. You're like, fuck this. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go do this.
And that's not everybody though. Not everybody wants to do that. Like some people want to do it because they're unhappy with where they are.
I know.
But
that's the key.
A wise man that both of us know once said, you can go to LA and you can go to Florida or you can go to these other places. But the problem is when you get there, you're still there.
Yes. Who said that?
Jason Khalil.
Oh, man. Yeah. All right.
You are still there.
That's probably that's some sage Buddhist advice right there, man.
If you can't be happy where you're at, then you're not going to be happy
anywhere.
If you're not happy with everyone you know, then you're going to go to a place where people don't know you. Maybe it's because when you get there, you're going to do things that you really want to do where you think you'll be made fun of or won't be accepted here.
No, I hear that where like people just, you know, it's tough when you're growing up, right? Like you get, especially if you're from a small town, like you can get pigeonholed into a certain people
career or
no, that's who you are in the town. Like you're either cool or you're not, you're successful or you're not, whatever, right? Like and so like it can create a barrier psychologically within you, but also within the environment you're trying to do something in, right? Like if you wanted to become a hip-hop artist and everyone's like, nah man, I've known you your whole life, you can't do that, like but then you moved out somewhere and changed your name, like maybe you could do it, right? But yeah, that's some really, really fucking good advice, man. The problem with you could go anywhere you want. It's kind of like saying wherever you go, there you are.
Yeah.
Except
yeah.
It's hey, if you're not happy with you can't run away from it.
Sometimes there's reasons for leaving that are part of that. Like if you're in a abusive relationship or some shit like that, like maybe your skill, like the thing, your craft that you became good at,
they struck gold in fucking California.
Yeah,
we're all going out there.
Absolutely.
It's 1849. Everybody grab all your shit. We're going to dig up some gold.
There. Yeah, exactly. That's like about survival. So if you're a certain, you make missiles and that's what you're really good at, and then a company like
fishermen don't set up shop in the middle of the woods.
Well, like Raytheon leaves, then all the missile makers around here are gonna have nothing to do.
They'll go somewhere else. People have often followed the work. I mean, that goes back to like the herd mentality.
Absolutely.
We just followed the herd because they had eaten all the grass.
Yeah,
they just kept walking and eating more, and we followed them because we were eating them.
Yeah,
that's how we do it.
Yeah. So there are circumstances of that, but now in this modern reality, it's like you're leaving to find something else.
Yeah,
and what is that?
My kid was talking this week about like that the person in the mirror is her biggest opponent, and that's who like gives her the most. Like,
it's facts.
And I was like, what? That attitude is the attitude of just basically like every champion that ever existed.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's the best attitude you can have. So like, so proud of her for that. But what your boy's saying is like right up there with that. Like, you got to get happy with the person in the mirror, because like that's why they say, can you look yourself in the mirror? Like, nobody likes to look at themselves in the mirror. I mean, I do. I've been doing it my whole life, but that's vanity. Yeah. But what I'm saying, and that's not even, that was just bred into me by like my grandma and my mom. They're like, oh, you're such a handsome little Greek boy, and I just they said it so much I believed it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But The Man in the Mirror, Michael Jackson, that's a real song, right?
Right.
And an expression exists for a reason. And then left to their own devices, and this is something I was going to throw out there during more of our addiction episodes, but like, humans like to get fucked up mostly because they're just like unhappy.
Yeah.
And the minute fucking COVID happened and people had the opportunity to like smoke weed and drink booze at home while they were working, like booze and alcohol sales went through the roof, and they tried to write it off as like, oh, people are stressed out.
Yeah, no.
I'm like, no, people are stressed out already. They just have to suppress it 9 to 5 because everyone's watching them. And they're like, hey, you can't drink and smoke at work.
Yeah.
But like now all of a sudden when you're at home, you could, people are fucking smoking and drinking and getting on conference calls.
Right.
And then like when you spaced out, you could just be like, oh, I'm sorry. I lost the connection for a minute. Could you repeat it? Could you say that again? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But secretly it was like they spaced out because they'd just done some lemon OG Kush like before we got on. That's the reality.
It's true.
Humans are unhappy. And, the Buddha was trying to, he was trying to fucking figure out why that is. And I don't think he came up with all the answers, but a lot of them are just to try to like, you got to mentally overcome it with like, just philosophy, I guess, right? Like, is it a philosophy?
I think, I don't know if like, if we did a, some sort of survey of people, how many would say they're unhappy?
Everybody.
Do you think that it would be more than
everybody? Everybody's a certain degree unhappy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if I was to say I'm happy, like to me, that's not how I would answer.
Happiness tends to be,
to me, it's a moment of happy is not something you are. It's something that happens to you sometimes.
It's an occurrence. Yeah, in my life, but so that's the thing.
Are you content?
That's really what you're trying to find is content.
Yeah,
and that's the ticket. Like,
and there's a thin line of being content and comfortable. Sometimes you have to get out of your comfort zone and be uncomfortable to reach the next level of
Another big philosophy in Buddhism is balance.
Balance, right?
Right? Like, you can't just sit there and do one thing all the time. You got to offset it with something else, or you're out of balance.
And you're not going to like it.
You're just going to be like like if you worked all the time, you get too stressed out. If you play all the time, you get too bored.
Right.
Like you need a balance. You need to be at work and be like, man, this sucks. I need a vacation.
And then you enjoy.
Yeah.
You work and then you go enjoy. You work all day and then you go enjoy your video games at night. And you really.
Whoa, I enjoy the hell out of it after a hot day.
Yeah.
But like when you're on vacation too long, if you've ever experienced that, or like sometimes maybe if you've been unemployed or you have like just basically when you're not productive for a long period of time, you start feeling like I want to do something with myself. You know what I mean? Another big classic depression thing. I'm not doing enough with myself.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So just balance it out. Play and work. Balance.
That's
balance,
what
baby.
People should try to be thankful for is finding balance.
Easier said than done, buddy.
I think like a lot of like these folks on the internet, there's a lot of them that are telling you how to be successful and have a good life. Talk about routine.
Yes.
It's like building that routine. And that's good, but that also leads to that fucking the thrill is gone.
You just like over.
You're like,
and over
oh,
and
I'm
over
just
again.
routine. I'm bored. I'm unhappy. I'm like, oh God, I gotta fucking do this.
Yeah, my life is a Groundhog Day scenario. Every day is the same. And like
right.
I often surprise myself. I'm like, man, you've been doing the same day over and over and over again for like 20 years now. And like when do I get to a point where I'm just like, this isn't awesome anymore?
Yeah.
Right now I'm into it. I'm like, man, every day I get to, I mean.
Yeah, but you may do the same thing, but it's in different spaces. Some people just fucking, I wake up, I go to work. I wake up, I go to work, come home, make food.
Cubicle life is tough for society. That's not good. That's not a good life to live. That's like putting veal in cages. Like we look at that and we're like, that's inhumane.
Yeah.
You can't put that cow in that little spot where he can't do his cow life. Like, what do you think we're doing to humans? We stuff him in a cubicle and make him run numbers all day. Like, human veal.
A lot of people since I started kind of listening to podcasts and these like, I wouldn't say self-help people, but like, these people that are like, hey, do this. Like they say, you wake up early and you want to get out and be outside when the sun's rising because that sun is really important. Like the rising sun thing, right? And
good luck if you live in Alaska.
Right, yeah, right. Write what your gratitude list every day. You write down what you're thankful for, what you're grateful for. Journal.
That's an important thing that I think people, if they like, that's the whole point I'm saying about Thanksgiving. Like people only do it once a year. They're like, I'm thankful for family.
Yeah, right.
Like,
and it's
the rest of the year, you're like
high level shit. Yeah, thankful for my family. I'm thankful for fucking. I'm thankful for fucking.
I am thankful for those things. They're pretty much one of my favorite things. All right, so listen.
Wait, I have a thing.
You get some. What do you got?
It's kind of that might not be a real thing.
What is it? Surprise. You already hit me with like 3 of those tonight, just talking to me about stuff. I was like, that's a thing?
Yeah. All right. So,
like bronies. That's a fucking thing. I can't believe it, but it is.
All right. The National Park Service, which is a
so like Yellowstone.
Yeah, this is a major department in the United States government.
Forest rangers, park rangers.
Yep.
That's a federal. That's a federal position, like
federal
an FBI agent.
This is federal government.
Federal park ranger.
There's park rangers. There's a whole administration to that whole. You get named. The person who runs this is named by the president of the United States.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Like the Secretary of Education, Secretary of Parks.
Probably, there's probably someone who runs this, and then like from down there, like below, the hierarchy leads to someone who's part of the cabinet, I believe.
Wow.
Okay, National Park Service. Okay, they issued a statement, a federal statement for humans to stop licking toads they find in the Sonoran Desert.
Why has there been like a did it go viral that you could lick a toad and trip out and now people are doing it?
Yeah.
That's sad.
As we say,
it goes to my point about earlier, people like to get fucked up. Yes. This is the links that they'll go to.
This is part of the statement. As we say with most things you come across in a national park, whether it be a banana slug, unfamiliar mushroom, or a large toad with glowing eyes in the dead of night, Please refrain from licking.
How many?
This is a national federal government agency that's issuing that.
That's because that many people are doing it. That they have to get on there and be like, look.
Shout out to.
We've got a little bit of a problem here.
Mike Tyson.
He's all about the toads. Is this his doing?
Yeah. So this is part of his doings. Joe Rogan. This because
these guys, these hallucinogen guys, frogs, which I'm one of.
Yes, FYI. Produce DMT.
Oh, okay.
So this is where those things are coming from. So, so because of this, the population is now considered threatened.
People are killing them
because due to collectors that want to use the animal for drug use.
What are you saying? They have like a gland
and
they're secreting raw DMT out of a gland, and people are harvesting it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah, probably.
Like a bunch of toads hanging by their ankles
have
right
reported experimenting with the toads extracted toxins. Boxing legend Mike Tyson has spoken about it, and some researchers have begun to study it for its potential therapeutic benefits. President's son, Hunter Biden, has written about using DMT therapy as a form of addiction treatment.
Wow.
The U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration considers DMT as a Schedule I drug, which is not, meaning it's currently not accepted for medical use as has a high potential for abuse. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at a frog. But because of the the potential, because people are collecting them now.
Yeah, they're holding on to them.
They're looking at population collapse. That's the word they used.
Yeah, and it affects other things
because
too.
they catch them, I'm sure, and now they're not fucking and sucking in the desert, reproducing, but maybe a nicer word.
Reproduction, biological reproduction.
They're taking them so I'm sure.
Though they do hump, just like all the other mammals.
That's what I'm saying. So
even
that
though
means
they're lizards.
Maybe there's a population collapse in the desert, but somewhere there's a fucking laboratory with 1 million of these fucking.
Oh yeah. The drug cartels are already got. That's probably what's going on. Is the drug cartels read that the hot new thing in America is DMT.
Yeah.
These frogs make the best stuff. They sent a shit ton of people into the parks to collect them all up, and now they've got them in a lab and they're doing the R&D. And when we're 60, there'll be like a pill that you can hit, and it'll be like, yo, brought to you by the drug cartels, courtesy of the frogs.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's an official statement.
So that's a real thing in my book. If you're posing it to me as like a possible fiction, I think it's real.
It's 100% real. I kind of didn't even, frame it as that it wasn't. I'm trying to find a better. I had an article that had more information. That was kind of a short one, but either way, it's gotten to a point where because of all these podcasts, specifically Joe Rogan,
we're part of that group now.
Yep,
we're responsible.
Talking about having these experiences and what they're like.
I'm the fun guy with the fun guy. What do you want from me?
It's become something that people are doing tours,
trying it out. Hey, babe, you're at the Colorado Rockies this weekend. Do some fucking whitewater rafting. Maybe lick a frog. Try it. See what all the hype's about. That's
these two toads have prominent parotoid glands that secrete a potent toxin. It can make you sick if you handle the frog or get poison in your mouth. Yet people seek it out anyway because it secretes DMT.
That sounds like the government not wanting you to do DMT, and they're just making a fake warning.
Absolutely, I think, and then also these
toads have been known to be poisonous throughout the.
If it's going to cause the destruction of a species too, that's part of
yeah, no, that ain't cool, baby.
But they say the agency warns that that does have life-threatening effects. These effects include irregular rhythm of the heart block, reduced blood pressure, and cardiac arrest.
Fucking neurotoxin mixed with some drugs. So you pass out and have a real good
over-collecting.
I bet. I'll tell you what. Probably your metabolism probably goes way down from that the neurotoxin.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about DMT, it is broken down very fast by your metabolism. And you need to take a liver-inhibiting enzyme to really have a good ride with it. I bet you there's some sort of something like that going on with the toad, where it's like you have to do it just right, but it lowers your metabolic rate enough where you get a good trip out of it.
Yeah. Well,
try telling me I'm not a scientist sometime, okay? Because that's the fact.
Yeah.
I want to I just want to that.
But yeah, real thing.
My 2 thoughts on that are this: don't worry about the population of those frogs one bit, because they are. Let me tell you something, right?
Yeah.
If cannabis didn't get you high, there wouldn't be fields of it growing all over the goddamn place right now. The minute our species finds something that gets us high or alters our brain chemistry in a way that we deem to be favorable,
right,
we make sure that organism is cultivated to the max, like wheat and hops and grain. We eat that, but really it's for the booze.
Yeah, it's for the booze.
And like, that's what humans like. You trust me, in 100 years, those frogs will be running rampant, and people will be like, there's a major population boom of these toads, and unexplainable. They've become pouring out of Mexico, and they've taken the U.S. border, but because they fucking brought them down there to study the drugs, and they've genetically modified them now to make it work perfect.
Right.
That's what we like to do. Okay, let me just close out the show with like a sad story of humanity. Okay. There's been a incident at the family restaurant where I guess, and we're not. This is not a new story. This is happening probably all over the place forever.
Yeah,
you've heard it. Everyone's heard it. But the whipped creams aren't working down at the restaurant. All right. So logically, what we've got going on now is there's basically 2 things that could be going on.
Right.
Whoever's manufacturing these whipped creams have got a faulty process and they're unaware of it.
Right.
Unlikely.
Or
one or a group of employees has been recreationally, they call it huffing? What do they call it when you suck?
I think it's huffing.
Is it nitrous oxide that they've used in there?
Yeah.
So they're getting a little, it's a whippet.
Yeah, it's a
whippet. They're taking a little whippet,
a
little blast of nitrous to clear the fog, for fun. So basically, like what I was told was that like several cases of whipped cream didn't work out, and that like it's been a problem down there, and that as a result of this, what do you like? You basically hear that, and your first instinct is what?
Dishwasher.
Bingo. Okay.
Yeah.
Bingo. You're like, okay, teenage kid, access to the fridge.
Yep.
Doesn't have can't get weed or booze. He's heard that this gets them fucked up, so he's going for it, right?
Yep.
So all this time, people that are looking into it are trying to figure out which one of the dishwashers, or all of them, or who's doing all the whippings.
Yeah, I would say there's definitely a potential. They would be the first person I would investigate.
It happened to be like a 60-year-old waitress. They got it on camera and found out. And
wow,
like, it's like a 60-year-old.
I mean, that would be my third group.
She's like late 50s, early 60s, just living hard. She's been she's been living hard. She's still obviously
she's just fucking getting into the whippet.
She's cleaned us out of our nitrous oxide of the whipped cream. So I mean, all right. So that's the links that
sad.
Those are the links that human beings will go to. It's
funny, but it's sad too. Yeah.
Oh, it's funny and it's sad. it's fucking. When I heard it,
led with that.
When I heard it, I could put it at the beginning of the show. Yeah. When I heard it, I was like, my kid was telling me like, "Oh my god, this has been going down at the restaurant," and I was like, "Yeah, that happens all the time. Like the dishwashers go in there and they whack out a couple of whippets, and we have to fire them every once in a while." But it's like it happens, right?
Yeah.
At no point in my mind was I like, this is a grown person with access to whatever they want out in the world, just trying to get through the day at work, cranking out whippets. I mean, it's sad. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's the gritty truth of humanity staring you in the face.
Right. I think it's sadder that someone that old, that age is doing it.
Yeah.
Like I could, if it was teenagers, you'd be like, no, that's hilarious.
Right. That's the first thing you said.
Like there's a group of them. Hey, did you try? Hey, try this.
They get, hey, did you try it? I mean, that's human nature.
Yeah.
You try something that gets you fucked up. You tell all your buddies about it. You're like, hey, you're not gonna believe it. It's like the first time you jerk off.
Yeah.
You're like, you run in and tell all your. Some people are embarrassed, but most of them are like, you guys, you're not gonna believe this.
Yeah.
Last night, a bunch of shit shot out of my penis and it felt amazing.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened.
It's
never happened before.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, kids everywhere all jerking off.
Oh yeah.
Because you know why?
Who told? Yeah.
the words out.
Who figured out
the goose is loose?
Off? Yeah.
I think it just happened.
Yeah.
It's instinctual. You
just rubbed it.
The pain pleasure response system.
Keep doing that.
Oh, that wasn't so bad. That was the opposite of a bee sting. That felt good. So yeah.
But yeah, all right. So just to go into a little deeper, and I don't know if you have the answer, like how many times are you going into the walk-in?
A lot.
Like, how do you not notice? Like, hey, what are you doing in there? Like, you just, I mean, what's in the case? Like,
I blame it on management. I'm like, that's bad management. Someone should have noticed before this became an issue that like this person's going in and out of the walk-in.
And very giggly.
Have you ever
how
seen
many times do you do a whip it? Like what's it take to clear whipped cream?
Okay, so I've never done nitrous oxide recreationally.
Yeah, I mean,
okay. I know
it's
that
very awesome, but
well, here's the deal. I know that like so like doctors and dentists and shit would put you to sleep with it.
It's essentially called laughing gas.
Yeah. So you get a little giggly, then you pass the fuck out. Yeah. Basically, you asphyxiate, and then they start feeding you oxygen with a little bit more of that and keep you under. Yeah. But there was like some give and play to figure out how that stuff worked. And like all other drugs, like, you know, you put a little in, you get one effect.
Right.
You put more in, you get a different effect.
Right.
When I was a kid, there were, and I've never done it, but I've seen people at concerts that have nitrous oxide balloons.
Yeah.
Where they take like a whack off of it, and they seem to be like enjoying it.
Yeah.
And laughing.
Yep.
When I was a kid, these dudes from New Jersey I hung out with, they had some nitrous oxide and they were doing it. And I remember watching them and they were laughing their keisters off for like 5 fucking seconds, maybe 10 tops. And then they'd come out of it and be normal again.
Yeah.
And they get a little foggy if they did a couple of them in a row.
Right.
But I remember thinking to myself, like, nah, that seems like a jip. I'm like, you get 10 little seconds? So I was like, what's so cool about that?
Yeah, right.
You know me, I like drugs that take you for a long
you want ride.
You're not getting off unless they tell you to, you know.
Yeah.
But in Thailand, they sell nitrous oxide balloons on the streets.
No kidding.
And now that they've started selling weed in Thailand, one of my buddies was like, because I'm planning on going, my buddy Dwayne was like, I'm just glad I don't have to watch, because now you can buy joints on the street and they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And my buddy, the first thing he said was, I'm just glad I don't have to watch grown people do nitrous oxide balloons on the street anymore. But when you see these people do it, I don't know what the Thai people are giving them in those balloons, but they don't get like energetic or laughy. They just get like catatonic. They get like limp.
Really?
It's like they're giving them a Mickey.
They
and
have to sit down and like.
I've seen guys take nitrous balloons in the middle of Bangkok, like in the street for fun. And then they just shut their eyes and stand there like for about
that doesn't sound
60
good.
seconds.
Yeah.
And then they like come out of it.
Yeah.
I was like, that seems like a perfect 60-second window to get all your wallet and money and everything and then just fucking bail.
Yeah, right.
But I don't know. The right amount of nitrous oxide, I think, has a really good effect, a really fun effect on you, whereas too much can knock you the fuck out. And
one keeps you happy for your waitress gig.
Well, my advice to everyone would just be stay off of nitrous oxide.
Yeah.
You know, like
go through a case of that, you're probably fucking up your brain.
Get a little vape pen if you really need to get a little kick in the pants during work. You know, stay off the gases.
Yeah.
We don't know what they're putting in there. So that's all I got that's all I got this week, Macka.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right. We'll catch everyone post-holiday.
Don't ruin your Thanksgiving, all right?
Be happy with what you got.
Go out and get fucked up, but like don't ruin Thanksgiving.
Try to have an orgy in a twin bed, and then you'll know. King size. It's the way to go. All right, everyone. Get your hooshies off.